Belongings in the Sand. The Tale of the Red-Heeled Shoes. Written by Carol Knox. Read by James Blackburn. Frightened, I stood surrounded by my few belongings. I couldn't help but stare at the sand covering the toes of my new shoes. Black, pointy-toed, with a flash of red at the heel. Like me, just a flash of possibility of intrigue. The heat feels like 40 degrees. Cars careen by at outrageous speeds, but this is only in the periphery of my consciousness. There is nothing but sand and freeway, and two individuals arguing in a language I can't understand. Two cars parked at an angle at the edge of the bleak desert. My mind can hardly grasp the reality of what has just happened. So far from home, I am frozen in the sand. Were I to see myself from above, I might look like a modern-day gargoyle. All I can think in that moment of me staring is, oh, my new shoes are getting ruined. If I'd only had my black tackies. Nothing else seemed possible. No running, no fighting would help me now. I opened the door, my glasses mist over, as the dry air smashes into the cool created by the air-conditioned vehicle. There is a distinct lack of chill in the barren, brittle heat in which I now stand. Trembling and confused, not being able to see so well, my slight visual impairment becomes a huge disorientation. The argument continued, the gestures wild. The youngster who collected me from the airport in Dubai was busy opening the boot and removing all his junk-like stuff. I had been struck by how dirty the car was when I first saw it, filled with the careless rubble of an uncaring youth, not the pristine cleanliness of a professional pickup vehicle. On the hair-raising journey until now, travelling at breakneck speeds of around 210 km per hour, throwing me around in the vehicle. Abdullah had mentioned that he was not an employee of Journal English in Abu Dhabi, the company I'd come here to work for. He was the brother of an employee, doing her a favour by collecting me from the airport. Dr. Adiba, it seemed everyone was a PhD, was meant to be doing the pickup. I'm berating myself. Why hadn't I listened to my intuition when I first saw the dirty car? Why hadn't I stopped and turned back into the airport? Why hadn't I asked him to stop? What would I have done, even if he had stopped? Thinking back to my arrival and seeing his face as he approached me, I was worried because my flight had been late, and he'd already waited for more than 2 hours. Just let me call my daughter before we go, I said. Trying to call from the call box with the international call card did not help. I couldn't do it for some reason. Please, could I try to call from your phone? I asked. He seemed way too young, all broad smile and flashing teeth. Abdullah said, sure, no problem, seeming forcedly nonchalant. This attitude gave me a subdued sort of uneasiness from the outset. I know that I'm standing out. My small stature and pale skin ensure that. I am dressed in a smart, casual way, comfortable, but in a quality of dress to set me apart. My hair is newly cut in the short, asymmetrical style I like. Long fringe to one side, red colour, newly redone. My nails beautifully manicured, but with a subtle shine only. Nothing flashy. I have a purple scarf on my head in case it is needed for this conservative society, especially since it is Ramadan. June is only slightly less hot than July, and August. I am fumbling with Abdullah's phone. I can't seem to work it. Frustrated, I ask him to call the number. Neither of us can get through. Never mind, I say, embarrassed by the effort of what should be such a simple task. I will call from the hotel. Abdullah gathers my belongings and walks ahead of me to the car. I can hardly breathe. It is so hot. I am tired and my mind is fuddled from the heat and fatigue. We reach the dusty and dirty car. Abdullah stuffs my 2 bags into his boot, in disarray. This is a far cry from the corporate pickups I'm accustomed to. The usual hired shuttle vehicle and smartly dressed chauffeur to collect me, conspicuously absent. I think I'm distracted because I really need the income, and this is my first foray into the UAE market. I am anxious to blow them away with my professionalism, hoping I will come once per month to work for this company. We speed off. My backseat driving fears accelerate with each increased notch in speed as we flash into a freeway stretching as far as my eyes can see. Aren't you going too fast? I stammer. Oh, Abdullah says. I haven't been stopped in about 6 months. What? My mind is screaming. Does this mean he is often stopped and by some lucky chance he has not recently been stopped? What the hell is this? I'm saying again and again in my mind, stay calm or all is lost. I try feebly to make conversation in the most self-contained and confident way that I can muster. I see that Abu Dhabi is near the sea, I say. Oh no, Abdullah states emphatically. It is inland. I say again by way of clarifying. I saw the hotel online and it looks onto the sea. He looks at me, smiles, looks away and does not answer, speeding on. My tongue feels thick and numb, dry as dust. I don't know what to say. I notice lights flashing behind us. Abdullah seems to curse and pulls off the road into a desert verge. Nothing but sand into the distance of the horizon. I look at him and ask, what is happening? I don't know, it's the police. He's looking in the rearview mirror. Why are we waiting? I want to see what he does, mumbles Abdullah. I'm feeling nervous, not sure how to deal with Arab policemen. The cop saunters over, taking his time, peering through the driver's window. The two of them engage in a heated altercation. I am shocked. In South Africa, one would always interact in a polite and non-confrontational way with both Metro Police and members of the South African police force. Abdullah gets out of the car. They continue to argue. Abdullah pulls things out of the car, stuffing them into packets. I get out and take my 2 bags a little way away from the argument. Hoisting my heavy laptop onto my left shoulder, I'm looking at my shoes. A taxi pulls up. I'm confused by its arrival. I go over to Abdullah and ask again, what is going on? Again he says, I don't know. Frightened and perplexed, I decide to approach the policeman. I ask in English, hoping he will understand. Hello, do you speak English? Yes, he says, looking fierce. What is going on here? The policeman says. This is a wanted car. My mind is bulking at this. Sweat is pooling inside of my glasses and running down my arms. I'm gaping at the cop, trying to look unspooked and cool. So what does this mean? I ask. The car will have to stay here. I called the cab. Dumbfounded, I approach the cab and start putting my bags into the boot. I open the back door, get in, and sit, all in one robotic movement. Abdullah finally gets in with all his stuff. I decide to tell the driver which hotel I am going to, since Abdullah says nothing. I sit silently. The absurdity of an abandoned car, windows open at an angle, in the desert sand, churns again and again through my brain. A full 30 minutes pass before Abdullah speaks. He takes a call and talks loudly. I quietly assume about what has happened. After the call, there is some silence before he asks, "Are you okay?" "Sure," I say. I'm looking at the scenery. I'm thinking about what I will do. I can't get my mind around what has happened. How can this be happening when I'm here to do corporate work for a large company? What the hell is going on? A palpable silence ensued, and we finally arrive at the hotel, 2 hours later. Abdullah does not want to come in, but helps when the cab driver asks. I get inside and an over-friendly doorman and receptionist greet me and check me in. The receptionist is slight, and she has a plastered Cheshire Cat smile on her face. The doorman touches my arm while leaning on the counter close to where I am standing. Doormen don't usually act in this way. I am aware that this is not how they should act in a Muslim culture either, which would require them to keep a good physical distance with a foreigner, especially a woman. Being a traveller of sometimes unusual, fairly isolated places, in a flash I am back in India, when a woman passed me a note as I went to pay for a meal, saying to be careful, the person we were with was dangerous. She saved us. I'm thinking if only I could know where this woman is now. This feels like something out of Hotel California by the Eagles. Ceiling mirrors and never leaving flit on the edge of my consciousness. Mirrors on the ceiling, the pink champagne on ice, and she said, "We're all just prisoners here of our own device." Suddenly I'm reminded of another time, in Savannah Ket, Laos, of a Chinese hotel that I was forced to stay in overnight because the options were so limited and night had fallen. A strange place with employees who were too obsequious, switches that didn't work or seemed to have mysterious purposes, stale smells, floral plastic tablecloths, vases of dusty fake flowers, music playing in an empty dining hall. I tried to shake off the disconcerting memory. Upstairs, I dump myself on the bed. I can't think, so I start to unpack, telling myself that by some kind of mind trick, I have exaggerated these circumstances. I must be deluded. In the silence, I look at myself, staring dispassionately at my image, somewhat dishevelled. Several moments pass. I see but little is registering. I look out of the window at the quiet streets below. Ramadan is in full swing, with only 1 or 2 people walking about. I catch a glimpse of the sea between the buildings. The windows are misted from sea spray, carried in by the wind, just like my misted glasses in the sand where I stood 2 hours earlier. Am I seeing things as they really are, I wonder? Should I run for the door? I feel listless, almost paralysed. I can't call my girls because overseas calls are too expensive, and I only have a small amount of dirham. I make the difficult decision to make one call to my eldest daughter, Sam. I know that my girls are waiting to hear from me, and it has been a long time since the flight landed in Dubai. They must be out of their minds with worry. Looking around the room, it has the same flat, stale, palpable ordinariness of every hotel room I have ever been in. I seem to be mirroring the room, feeling the same flat ordinariness heightened by the unreality of the situation, the juxtaposition of ordinary and unreal. A Kafka joke. There is something almost macabre about it. I call Sam. I hear her worried voice as she answers the phone. I tell her about the weird things that have happened on the road, at the edge of the sand which covered the toes of my shoes. She says, "Mom, this is strange. You need to get out of there." Listen, I don't fit the profile. It can't be for the sex trade or the cheap labour. She's breathing fast. "Mom, whatever it is, it can't be good. Maybe it's organs, who knows?" I tell her about the over-friendly staff. She feels the hotel may be part of this nefarious plot. "I'm very tired. Let me get some rest." "Let's make a time for you to call back. How about 16:30, I say. "Mom, you can't be complacent. This is how bad things happen. You cannot get into a car tomorrow morning to go somewhere you don't know. You could disappear." We agree to think it through some more and on the time. But just before she rings off, we hear a click, like a receiver being put down on the other side somewhere between her and me. I go cold. I start to sweat. What Sam has said makes perfect sense. I remove my red-heeled pumps, exposing my raw feet, and decide to shower and pack my stuff. I spend some time laying out what I will wear, looking over the contents of my bags, placing this item and then another on the bed. What will attract the least attention? A call comes through from reception. "Ms. K, there is someone in reception for you." I'm thinking how it must be an employee of Journal English coming to apologise to me about the misadventures, distress and fears of my morning. I throw on my Italian black jacket and rush downstairs. When I get there, I see a casually dressed woman, sans headscarf, waiting for me. She is young and speaks good English. All she can say is that she had a cell phone card for me, so that they can keep in touch and that she will pick me up in the morning. Not one word by way of explanation or apology comes from her. She keeps it short. I don't really ask questions. I go back upstairs. I'm fretting about how I will be able to leave. I can't suddenly check out because they will realise something is amiss. I rack my brain, mulling over possibilities. Trying my laptop, I find the plug fitting doesn't accommodate my power cable. Here's a ruse, I thought. I hatch a plan. This is what I will do. I will wait until 1900 and call down to reception to book me a cab, so that he's waiting for me when I get downstairs. I will take my bags down and go to the reception desk, saying I'm going to the mall to get a laptop cable. I'm taking my bags with me because I'm meeting my nephew, who is in Abu Dhabi to see me, having come from Dubai, where he was skippering a vessel, and I have things for him from home. I should be back by 22:30. If anyone calls, please take a message. However, I begin to fret again. What if they stop me somehow? What if they have detained me for owing them money for the flight they have paid for and the hotel accommodation? Even if I get away, I have very little currency. How will I get another flight? I decide to forego eating. I don't want to run up costs. I am tired and feel like a cut-out doll, thin, easily crinkled, and disposable. Everything is still, quiet, a frozen moment, like a shoe lost in a frosty puddle. I stand motionless. I'm waiting for the call. It's 16:30, call time. Sam rings right on schedule. I move to pick up the phone, somehow re-embodied. I can reach and bring the receiver to my ear. So Mom, are you alright? You need to get to the airport. You need to leave. I relay my plan. My other daughter, Angie, is with her. I can hear her in the background echoing, I love you, Mom. I say I am worried about their influence. I don't know what their connections are. I'm going to throw away the phone card. Remember that I'm concerned about even going online in case they track me. I'll use payphones to keep you updated when I can. Okay, Mom, just let us know each step of the way. These calls are to be my anchor, my bridge. It's a go. I sit, wait, smoke, wait some more, time suspended, a flat surface, stretching. I feel as if I am on a motionless conveyor belt. When I look ahead, there is nothing but white distance, oblivion. Finally, it's 1900. I call downstairs and reserve my cab. I carefully wrap my toes and pad my heels with toilet paper to cushion the chafing, gingerly putting on my shoes once more, my feet fitting painfully but well into the role I'm about to play. At 19:30 sharp, I enter the elevator, stepping out at reception level. I slap on my charm and ease. I leave my bags within sight of the doorman and receptionist. It's a new shift, now a male. Hello, I say, smiling. I relay my constructed stories for leaving. Sure, he says hesitantly, with a wry, lopsided smile. As I turn, I remember that I need to settle the bill for the call. Oh, I say, please can I pay for the international call I made earlier, so that I'm not delayed tomorrow? I pay in dirham. I turn again, the doorman comes forward to pick up my bags, and I see that the cab is waiting at the entrance. My bags are in. I am in. As we pull away, all animation seems to seep from my limbs. Please take me to Abu Dhabi Airport. I sag, imperceptibly, as we drive away. I am paper. Arriving at the airport, I am confronted by chaos. There is building and renovations happening everywhere. Cardboard dividers separate off various areas, leaving a small passage crowded with people. I see businessmen being met by shuttle drivers. Everyone is distracted, single-focused, wanting to get where they are going. I feel sad, since this is how I should have been met, how it should have been. I try to find a public phone and use my international call card. I need to let Sam and Angie know that I have arrived. I am wandering around, my feet sore and the heat stifling. Finally, I find a phone. I try several times unsuccessfully to dial the number. I can't do it. My bags are cumbersome and heavy. I am starving. I walk away and decide to ask the cleaner for help with the call. He looks at me and asks, "Where are you from?" I say South Africa. He says, "How is Madiba?" "We hear he is sick." I smile. At the moment he is not well, but he is in hospital. This kind soul shows me how to use the call card. A real connection. I thank him sincerely. The trick is to dial quickly, not pausing between numbers. I manage to get through. "Sam, I am here. I'm not sure if I can change my flight. I'm worried about using their ticket. What if they intercept me?" We decide I will try to get a new flight. The book flight made by Journal English leaves in 5 days, and I can't wait that long. The fear that they could be alerted to my disappearance and looking for me hangs heavily over me. Booking kiosks are mostly closed. I trundle around, finally finding one that is open. They are eating, having broken their fast. I wait. They tell me that there is no direct flights from Abu Dhabi on the airline I have come in on. I will have to go to Dubai to book a flight from there. I am thinking about my options. Should I go to Dubai? Maybe I should try to go to the South African embassy. If I spend my money on getting to the embassy, then I'll not reach Dubai because of my limited funds. I want to get as far away as possible. I'm worrying about the cameras. My red hair may as well be a flashing beacon, a buoy on a dark sea. I make a last call to my girls, telling them that I'm going to see if I have enough dirham to reach Dubai airport. I'm going to push on. This resolve gives me strength. Back out in the streaming, seething mass, I catch the eye of a driver. I ask how much to Dubai airport. Miraculously, I have enough. I jump into the cab with renewed vigour. We begin to chat. He's from the pool. I tell him about my journey to India. He tells me about how he came to work in Dubai and how happy he is to have this job and how his life has changed. I notice that the freeway is lit on both sides, the whole way, floodlit. I see the snaking of another freeway in the dark in the distance, a serpent of light. Our freeways at home are very dark. I notice that the cabs here are monitored, and a feminine voice warns the driver whenever he exceeds 130 kms. I feel insulated and safe in this space. A respite, a mini sanctuary. The glittering of the opulent buildings of Dubai flashes past my eyes like a silent movie. Finally we arrive. It's around 2300. I step into the cavernous halls, mostly empty. The cool is a delight. I've had no rest in well over 24 hours. I am bone weary. I head for the phones. When I reach Sam, she tells me that my ex-husband has arranged for me to stay in the transit hotel through customs and that a business flight has been booked for me for 2 days from now, since it was the only one available on short notice. What? I say. I've just enough dirham to buy a bagel, certainly not enough for a flight. However, I do have my budgeted household money in rand. I was thinking I would use that somehow. I say, how did you get your father to agree to that? I am stunned. She says, don't worry about that now, Mom. Call me back. I will give you the details in about an hour. My ex-husband and I have barely spoken in 14 years. The divorce was acrimonious, barbed and wired in complicated ways. An almost literal cavern has existed all these years since. I have long ago accepted this. It has been very difficult for the girls. They've had to be go-betweens for what feels like an eternity. Little was I to know that there would be a massive backlash still. I was to become persona non grata after this. My oldest daughter would have to sign a document agreeing to this, disallowing me from entering her apartment, on pain of having it taken from her by her father. After all, it is his apartment. He now wished me to become an outcast to my own children. The vagaries and vicissitudes of life made manifest. I can't help in this moment being relieved. No energy to consider any of that could be a consequence. What a strange form my protective beings have taken in these circumstances. I go and sit, eating the biggest bagel I've ever seen. I watch the turbaned businessmen conducting meetings here and there, pristine robes, checkered headdresses, solemn faces, self-assured, at home in their medium, a glare of white. An hour later the airport is virtually deserted. Making the call, Sam tells me what to do. I pass into the business check-in area, but my laptop crashes as I try to find the flight confirmation. Finally, I am called and I may go through. I am carrying both bags, reluctant to check them into baggage hold. Once I am through, I realise I have to traverse all the concourses, right to the end where the transit hotel is. I feel as if I can hardly take another step. My blisters are hurting, the toilet paper has shifted in my shoes, making me even more uncomfortable. I'm negotiating another kind of desertification. The sumptuousness of prosperity, white, bright and glittering. A kind of courtesan's boudoir, the power of the dollar. My face is rosy from distress and heat. I walk and walk and walk. I waver. I am not sure I can make it. If I sit, I will worry I'll be drawing dangerous attention to myself. So obviously vulnerable. I'm moving in a haze of what feels like cotton ball atmosphere, in slow motion. A smiling perfume sales lady stops me. Why don't you get a trolley? You seem tired. I smile at her woodenly, unable to mirror her lovely smiling face. She finds me one. The relief is astounding. I arrive at the hotel. It is around 2:30. I get to my room. Everything seems dim. Tinted mirrors and drawn curtains. Peaceful. Sam calls again, checking at every moment that I am okay, and am where I should be. I throw myself on the bed, putting on the movie channel, dimming the lights. I sleep for 8 hours. I wait to the phone ringing. It's Sam. She says, "Mom, you can check into the business lounge 24 hours before your flight. If you do that, you can get something to eat for free." I am worrying about the distance to the lounge from the hotel, but decide to check out and go across there anyway, feeling the hollow, faint nausea of the low blood sugar. a sensation in the pit of my stomach. When I arrive, the lounge is cool and deserted. I'm met by a waiter. He asks me where I am from. I say, South Africa. He says, can I sing you something? I'm perplexed. Yes, sure. He begins to softly sing. Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, stand still. Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, stand still. Goeiemorgen, my vrouw, is een zinkie voor jou. Goeiemorgen, my man, der koffie in die kan. Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, stand still. Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, Jan Piravit, stand still. Good morning, my wife, here's a kiss for you. Good morning, my man, there is coffee in the can. I can't believe this, and I am stunned. I ask him where he learnt this traditional Afrikaans song. He says, I used to work on a cruise ship, and I met a beautiful South African woman who taught it to me. Thanks so much, you have made my day. He takes a shine to me, shows me where I can set up a sleeping area, relatively away from any incoming bustle. He brings me a blanket. A veritable feast is laid out at the buffet. I feel a kind of redemption, a delight in the flavours, colours, textures and variety. I am okay. 24 hours later, I make the journey from the lounge to the gate for my flight back home. I am still antsy. At any moment I could be stopped. A South African family complains about the delays and the queue. The mom jokes with me, we should toy, that'll get their attention. I smile and nod, thinking I'm going home, the joy of toy. Once on the plane I sink into the luxury of business class travel. The special delights, the attention and the space. As we take off I think of the saviours and helpers I have encountered along the way. The cop who probably saved my life, the cleaner at Abu Dhabi airport, the cab driver from Nepal, the help from my ex-husband, the perfume lady, the Jan Piravit waiter, my daughters, who have been with me every step I have taken. Counting my blessings, I resolve to stay in the moment, not to think of the future or what this experience might mean going forward, or how I'm going to sustain myself without the income from this company that brought me here that I have been banking on. I'm alive. I am wearing my red-heeled pumps. For now, this is enough. I am okay. I have found my passage back. I smile to myself and close my eyes.